what? You don't have to worry about me because I'm a hard ass. And if a kid gets out of line, I got no problem smacking him in the head.
No, we don't use corporal punishment here.
Okay, so just verbal abuse?
Dewey in the beginning of the film is an opportunistic, selfish musician down on his luck.
And you're gonna be a funny little footnote on my epic ass.
When he sees that his class has musical talent, he initially uses them as props to boost up his own sense of self-worth. But to truly have a positive impact in a child's life, you've gotta be selfless and a role model. It is not until he really confronts himself that we witness his growth as a character, and more importantly, as a teacher. It's a reminder that education doesn't always have to be by the book. Sometimes it's about tapping into student interest. How do you make it relatable while also being your authentic self? Welcome to Edu-Take. My name is Sharetta. I am an educator, ed policy nerd, and lover of music. A few weeks ago, I mentioned starting a new series called Educator Reacts, and a lot of y'all had requested that I review The School of Rock. Growing up, this was my movie. Like, I remember saying it verbatim. I distinctly remember having it on DVD and playing it on my PS2. And rewatching it for this video, I was just like filled with nostalgia and even have like a greater appreciation of it as an educator. Everybody raves about Jack Black and the children stealing the show, but for me, I feel like the real standout is Dewey's teaching methods, mainly the use of project-based learning, which I believe really brings the film to life. So in the video, we're gonna explore the different elements and let's get rocking.
Okay. There's a guitar pick, and you pluck along with me, okay? If you can.
Back in the day.
Yes.
I love the affirmation that he gives.
Yes.
One element of project-based learning is inquiry and innovation. So inquiry in project-based learning really involves students actively exploring and asking questions about a subject. And innovation like encourages them to use their creativity, but also like finding unique solutions and allowing them to express their understanding in new and individual ways. Dewey, even though he doesn't have any experience in education, unknowingly does this common teaching method, and it looks probably different in music, called I do, we do, you do. And it's all about like the gradual release of responsibility when it comes to our students. So Dewey, as the instructor, plays a piece on the guitar and he's telling Zach, hey, follow me. I love how he gets animated each time as the students are following his lead. And later in the movie, I even appreciate like how he fosters Zach's innovation to say, I appreciate you playing. However, you need to develop your own style. And it's through this one-on-one interaction, the learning experience is tailored to Zach and also all of the students' needs, showing a deeper understanding and also refinement of their skills.
Listen, you guys, you know what? Normal kids would have been stoked to slack off, but not you guys, because you're not normal. You're special. And because I think you guys have the right attitude, I think it's time we started our new class project.
A science project?
No, it's called
Not him pimping out the kids.
Rock Band.
Is this a school project?
Yes, and it's a requirement. And it may sound easy, but nothing could be harder. It will test your head and your mind and your brain, too.
Will other schools be competing?
You could say that. You could say that every school in the state will be competing for the top prize.
What's the prize?
A win will go on your permanent record. Hello, Harvard, yo. The thing is, we're not supposed to get started until next quarter, but I think we should get a leg up on the competition, don't you?
I do.
Who else wants to go for the gold?
I do. I do.
All right. But if anyone finds out what we're doing in here, we'll be disqualified. So let's just keep it on the down low, shall we?
Can we tell our parents?
No!
So I said earlier that Dewey's use of project-based learning is the unsung hero in this film. So project-based learning is a teaching method where students are getting like that hands-on knowledge and skills in a subject that's personally meaningful and also relevant to them. So Dewey knows that the students are musically inclined, musically talented, because he also has a love for music. And it's that sense of common ground that really goes a long way in teaching, especially the first couple weeks. Now, some of y'all might be wondering, like, what's the difference between project-based learning and also doing a regular school project? And I would say school projects are usually shorter. So in this case of School of Rock, the project is the unit, and the students spend most of their day doing and engaging in rock music. I would say similar to a class project, it often includes problem solving, collaboration, and just having different forms of communication. I would also say a different factor, sometimes school projects have this, sometimes don't, is just having like that final presentation in which the students are getting like that hands-on live experience. And in this case, the kids are performing at Battle of the Bands. That crowd looked like it was about 100 people or more, probably. Though Dewey has a very infectious personality, I feel like he's already starting on the wrong foot here when he's lying to the little kids. I feel like that's no good, especially when you're trying to build a rapport early on. And he's already on thin ice telling the kids on his first day subbing that he's hungover and he has the runs. Seeing the scene gives me great joy because it's a great demonstration of student voice and choice, which is also really important in PBL. Remember when you were a kid? I guarantee you, throughout your time in school, there were some teachers who were as dry as this guy. Student choice and voice are really important, right? Because it gives students agency in their learning. I think so much so sometimes in education, we just expect the students to just sit there and learn, which is part of it, but it has to be a collaborative experience. Beforehand, Dewey was so much fine with working with those four musicians. And I appreciate the students saying, hey, like, what about the rest of us? Because it doesn't make for a engaging experience for those four students to be included and the rest just sitting there and watching. When we see Dewey assigning roles, like, we see the nuances of student voice and choice. So Billy isn't interested in being security detail, but rather be the band stylist, which is needed. Tamika later in the movie doesn't really care about being a roadie, but reveals to have a powerful voice that's needed in the band. Summer, who is probably the best student in the class, it's goody two shoes perfectionist, can be very annoying, really strong in class, and she's also very strategic. And Dewey's able to see that in her and makes her the band man. Even when it comes to that song that's played at the Battle of the Bands is Zach's song, which is ideal because I don't think the crowd would have given the kids an encore or even given them the time of day if they heard Dewey talk about that disgruntled experience about him getting kicked out of the band. Is there like an equivalent of the Apollo but for rockers? Let me know. One more thing that I wish we could have seen more in the movie, but it's also implied, is just the different groups in the band collaborating together. So, for example, the groupies, I don't know why he got to call them that, are designed to make t-shirts and merchandise. But in an ideal world in PBL, like they would be working with the band stylist, the musicians, the crew, basically everyone to bring cohesion in that final performance.
The first thing you do when you start a band is talk about your influences. That's how you figure out what kind of band you want to be. So who do you like? Blondie.
Christina Aguilera.
Who? No, come on. What? You, shortstop.
Puff Daddy.
Wrong. Billy.
Liza Minnelli.
What are you guys? This project is called Rock Band. I'm talking about bands that rock. Led Zeppelin.
Does he expect the students to really know that?
Don't tell me you guys have never gotten the lead out. Jimmy Page, Robert Plant? Ring any bells? What about Sabbath? AC/DC? Motorhead? Oh, what are they teaching this place?
This takes me out for many reasons. Now, millennials know. Before there was a Diddy, a P. Diddy, we remembered him as Puff Daddy. But on the opposite end, I can also relate to Dewey. I'm a woman in her early 30s. I don't know much of what this new music and dance moves the kids are doing today. Now they're getting sturdy and they're dancing on TikTok. I grew up in the era of watching TRL, 106 and Park with AG and Free. There is a difference. Wearing Rockaware, Baby Fat, and jamming to Get Low. What a time. Once Dewey realizes that the students don't have a history of rock and roll, he dedicates time every day for them to learn about rock history, rock appreciation, and theory. And while he doesn't feel like traditional subjects like math and reading are important, again, he unknowingly implements this interdisciplinary approach by weaving together music, history, culture, and roadie crew when he's talking about sound. And it's like sneaking veggies into a kid's meal. Like they're getting educated without even realizing it because they're so immersed in the subject. And that's why I don't have any kids of my own, but that's why I'm such a huge advocate for people, especially kids who are around the students' age in the movie, to not only learn like the traditional subjects because you need those, but also like taking up other hobbies like if you're in high school, technical vocational schools, because it helps students discover their passions, develop diverse skill sets, and also just helps them to become better humans. But let's be real. If I was a student, I would be so captivated by Dewey's unorthodox but also passionate teaching style. And I think it just helps us to remember that education doesn't always have to be by the book. Like, especially when it comes to the art, sometimes it's tapping into those students' interests. Like, how do you make it relatable while at the same time being your authentic self? And trust me, as someone who's worked with a lot of teachers, been in the classroom, having that connection with students, being able to link it to their world and their reality goes a long way.
So, Tamika, what's going on? What do you mean you can't sing?
I don't feel good. I feel sick. Just let Alicia and Marta do it.
No, they can't sing like you can. I need you in the chorus. What is it? Are you nervous? Yeah, why? Well, what are you afraid of?
They're gonna laugh at me.
What? Why would they laugh at you?
I don't know. 'Cause I'm fat.
Tamika, hey, you've got something everybody wants. You've got talent, girl. You have an incredible singing voice, and I'm not just saying that. You heard of Aretha Franklin, right? Okay, she's a big lady, but when she starts singing, she blows people's minds. Everybody wants to party with Aretha. And, you know who else has a weight issue?
Who?
Me. But once I get up on stage, start doing my thing, people worship me because I'm sexy and chubby, man.
Why aren't you on a diet?
Because I like to eat. Is that such a crime? Look, you know what? That's not even the point. The thing is, you're a rock star now. All you gotta do, you just gotta go out there, just rock your heart out. People are gonna dig you, I swear. Let's just go out there, show them what we got. What do you say?
Okay.
Thank you. Let's rock.
I picked out this scene because we really start to see the shift of Dewey's perspective and how he sees the students. I think what I really appreciate too is just like how he handles the situation. He takes Tamika to the side. He helps create a comfortable space for her to share her concerns. And I think this is really key in life in any educational setting. Like when we have students that have real deep needs and concerns and attention, it's really important to address that in a thoughtful and also respectful manner. And he affirms her by saying, hey, like, I think you have a great voice. Like Aretha Franklin, RIP to the Queen. But I think also, in addition to that, he also says, like, hey, I also struggle with my weight. To me, it reminds us, like, to always look at the human side of someone, especially when it comes to our young people. When you're able to make that connection, it builds rapport. It helps students see their own potential because they have that caring adult on their side. And also in the context of project-based learning, This kind of individualized support, similar to Zach, and encouragement is crucial. Like, it helps students feel seen and valued, which I believe is really essential for their active and confident participation in any project that they do in class.
Guys, all I can say is, let's rock! One more thing. I want to say I'm sorry that I used you guys. I'm sorry I lied. And it's not cool to lie to your band.
Come on, we're gonna be late. There's no time for apologies. Let's go, come on.
All right, let's go.
I think this scene is so powerful because it shows the importance of owning up to your mistakes as an adult and being humble enough to tell the students, hey, I messed up and I'm sorry. Can I be real with y'all? Sometimes we think because kids are kids, like they're not worthy of an apology. And I think that's a flawed mindset. I think by apologizing, he's able to model to his students, like, what does a healthy relationship look like? You know, there's been a lot of talk recently, especially after the pandemic, about the importance of social emotional learning in kids. But I feel like we don't speak about that really in the context of educators. Dewey, in the beginning of the film, is an opportunistic, selfish musician that's down on his luck. And when he sees his class has musical talent, he uses them as props as a means to showcase his sense of self-worth. If you really want to make a positive impact in a child's life, you have to often be selfless and also be that role model. And it's not until he truly confronts himself that we see the growth as a character, but also more importantly, as an educator. Because in that short time that Dewey was teaching, he learned a lot from the students, just as much as they learned from him. And just the fact that they were able to find his place, wake him up, which is a little weird. I don't know how they were able to find this man's address and say, hey, let's go to the show. Let's go to something that we worked so hard on, shows how much they mean to him. I will say, caveat though, it should probably be best practice that people should never pretend to be a licensed teacher, because obviously it's a surefire way to get your ass in jail and never be around kids again. But again, I understand that it's a feel-good comedy.
Hey, what's up? We're the School of Rock, and this song was written
Y'all,
by our
if
own
I
Zach
cry-
Mooneyham.
Do not judge me. Look at that intro. And look at Gordon. I love like seeing how everybody comes together to kind of focus on like this show. Why does his hair look like Kodak Black? They sounding smooth. All right. Just seeing Tamika's confidence, bar none. You better go, girl. This is my part. Kick some ass. They caught him. Oh, they did the damn thing. I love it. This movie is a classic, and it really makes me wonder why Hollywood doesn't make gems like this anymore. But let's not jinx it with a reboot. Like, we've certainly seen enough of those. Jack Black and the child actors. I also wanted to give a special shout out to Kevin Clark, who played Freddie, R.I.P. He passed away a few years ago. They added so much value to the film. And as I'm just thinking about the School of Rock, it kind of reminds me of something crucial. Anyone in education, whether you're a teacher, short-term sub, paraprofessional, mentor, whatever, you can make a significant difference in a child's life. You never know where that might lead them. Edulites, I want to hear from you. What was your favorite part of the movie? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know what you would like to see next.